We are recording, Mr. Mo. Once again.
Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, yeah. But wait. Who, is that? Is that Chris? No, that's not Chris Moore. Chris Moore looked all old and raggedy last time I saw him. This is a fresh faced. This is a fresh faced young gun that I'm seeing in
Yeah,
front of
dude.
me. Who is this man?
I got
Where did he come
Botox.
from? Whoa!
I got Botox. You know what? I was juicing the new year. I was like, let me start juicing again because it's good for your skin. And after a few weeks, I was like, I don't have time for this shit. I made an appointment with Botox.
You fuck juice. Let's talk about steroids, brother.
No,
No, never
juice,
mind.
not Jews. Juice.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I sounded like you said something that Elon Musk would have said in,
All I'm
in the
saying,
an R movement.
all I'm saying is, I'm giving my heart out to you. All right, we're gonna do this in three, two, one.
What are you doing?
Testes in my mouth.
Get on the ground, you fucking pledge!
Ew.
Welcome to the greatest podcast experience of your life. This is the Frat Chat Podcast.
All young men like three things. Food, booze, pussy.
Featuring Carlos Garcia and Chris Moore.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to a new year, a new season, and a whole new episode of To the Frat Chat Podcast, baby! I'm Carlos Garcia with Chris Coffee McGee's Mr. Mo. How's it going, Mr. Mo?
What's up, man? How are you? How are things? How's life? I haven't seen you since, let's see, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's was yesterday. All these like big, and then Martin Luther King's birthday, all these big national holidays. This
That's
coming
right.
up weekend is going to be, this Monday is going to be Washington's birthday.
That's right. We also missed, the establishment of the Fourth Reich, aka Project 2025.
Mhm.
Not to say we told you guys so. We did a whole fucking episode on this.
Womp womp.
Yeah, that's right. What the fuck? We probably will end up in Guantanamo Bay soon once this airs. But I hope everybody's doing good so far. But I don't know. Life is good.
Guantanamo Bay is in Cuba, right?
That's right. It's in
So
Cuba.
let me ask you a question.
Go on.
If you were sent to Guantanamo Bay, then do U.S. laws and rights apply to you when you're off U.S. soil?
Well, that's why Guantanamo Bay was placed in Guantanamo Bay because, baby, once you're in Guantanamo Bay, like no one knows what the fuck is going on with you.
Yeah, because you're not just deported; you're basically imprisoned.
You're in prison in a camp.
That's so scary.
And the cells in Guantanamo Bay, like you're completely like deprived of any human contact. They would put the worst of the worst, for example, or suspected terrorists from 9/11. Some of these people actually were innocent, which is fucking scary. And they were held there with like no trial, no attorney, sometimes tortured for information for years at a time. This one dude had to be released, and he was actually a terrorist because they held him for like 13 years without a fucking trial, which is super illegal. But the thing is, at the time, you were sent there out of sight, out of mind type thing. And that's exactly why they're doing it. Same thing that they're trying to open a detention center on Rikers Island. Fucking no one goes into Rikers Island. That's a dangerous ass jail. No one wants to go in there. The fuck? So now they're going to put, and it all started with saying there's going to be the violent people, but nope, looks like it's the non-violence too. They're just rounding them up, pulling them to these fucking disgusting, awful areas. So I don't know. It's very scary for Latino, and it's.
Well, if I was at the airport and someone in a uniform said, "Here's a form, sign it," I think I would sign it because I would trust someone in a uniform. And I've seen reports of people signing away their citizenship or signing away like their rights to the country and getting sent back to their original country, not knowing that they signed this document. I saw a couple
Oh,
cases about that online. I was like, oh, that's scary.
that's
I also
super
saw
illegal.
online, I couldn't find an article. I just saw a TikTok, a Twitter, and an Instagram video of some professor in, I think, is it Alabama University or maybe Arizona? I think it's Alabama. But he caught two male students having sex in the classroom and kicked them out. I think they got arrested for it. But
Oh.
there's a video of him saying, "Stop fucking in my class." It's like, man, that must have been a really boring class.
At least wipe the desk when you're done. Ew, God.
It's like you have some options. You can sleep or you can fuck.
Yeah,
Like, hey, I'm not really getting
yeah,
anything out of this class. Say, you want to put your dick in my butthole? Yeah, man,
yeah,
that
yeah.
sounds great.
I used to dick around during class, but this is ridiculous. This is
I
not.
know. So I've been doing a lot of traveling for work, and I'm very blessed to get to travel. It's exhausting, but it's nice to see a lot of places. And in December, I went to Germany and Austria, and after the inauguration, my colleagues over in Eastern Europe were like, "Chris, if anyone were to do that hand motion that Elon Musk did
Oh God,
on the streets of Germany or Austria, you get
you go to jail.
arrested.
Yeah, you go to jail.
That is such like a disrespectful and like treasonous gesture. Like,
Mhm.
how does he do that and not get in trouble? And I was like, well, it's tough because I think Elon Musk, not to be funny, but like I think he's on the spectrum, right? Doesn't he have Asperger's, or like
Mhm.
he's
Yep, yep.
so one could make an argument that, oh, he doesn't know any better because
No, he
he's
knows. There's
special
videos of
needs.
him doing the actual giving my heart out to you. I've seen it juxtaposed with the fucking Nazi salute that he did, and then he turned around and did it again. He definitely knows how to fucking the excuse of maybe he's on the spectrum, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He can run fucking Tesla, right? And try to send a rocket to the goddamn moon. He can fucking tell the difference between giving my heart out to you and the Nazi salute, which obviously I'm not gonna fucking do. No way, dude. This guy,
Oh, and Kanye West tried to have a Nazi symbol on a T-shirt.
he did.
It
He
got
did.
taken down. My
Oh, thank
gosh,
God.
what is going on?
Yeah, no. And he bought a Super Bowl ad in some markets, as many markets as he could afford, like telling people to go to his website. And then they go to his website, and that's the only item for sale was a Nazi fucking tee, which is wild. And how much money he spent to do this shit. But I mean, it's crazy. This is not to get super newsy because we do have to get this thing going. But JD Vance just canceled a meeting with Angela Merkel, the German, chancellor lady, to
Mhm.
meet with a far right group instead. So that's like scary shit, dude. And they're telling Elon Musk was going over there to another far right group and told it's in Germany, telling them, don't be ashamed of like your grandparents past and shit. Be proud of your heritage. It's basically telling them like fucking be proud of the Nazi stuff. And no one's down for that in Germany. Like no one. The Germans are good fucking people.
Mm-mm.
They hate that shit. It's tough. Right now they're in Europe making fools of themselves, and it's not making America look great. Let me just tell you that. But
Oh my gosh, so I was in Milan last week, and anyone that it was a big, like, it's like Fashion Week for eyewear. It's
right.
called Mito, and all these like huge eyewear brands, they come, and all like the wholesalers and distributors come and meet, and they look at the new product. It's like it's assumed that you should have your spring collection ready to go to showcase, and people place orders before spring comes. And so we had a lot of events, and our brand is so popular that we had to do it off site because it just gets too busy with people wanting my boss's like autographs and pictures. It's like crazy. I'm like,
Mhm.
where's the security? So at one event, I was like, this is scary. But people from all over the world, like I didn't even know that there was a country called North Macedonia. I had no
Oh,
idea.
well,
Have you heard of that before?
I had heard of Macedonia. I had never heard of North Macedonia. Is it
Because
a
I
separate
thought
country?
Macedonia was Greek.
Well, it's isn't it around there?
Oh, while North Macedonia is like Eastern Europe.
the country in the Balkans, and then there's the area.
So I like there's people from all over the world and countries I've never heard of. Sorry, North Macedonia, but I've never heard of it. And people were so excited to find out that I was American because all they want to talk about is Donald Trump.
Oh
That
my
he's
god!
such a topic of discussion globally, and everyone's like, "What do you think about Trump? Did you vote for him? Did your family vote for him?
So
What do you
are
think
you
about this, and
stupid?
this?"
Are you stupid American or are you less stupid American? Let's see.
I was like, "I did not vote for that guy."
They're like, okay, and then you can put the tomato down, Thomas. He did not vote for him.
But some people like him. They think he's funny, and you could tell who
Well, he is
people.
funny. You don't have to. You would have to be the biggest hater in the world to not admit that he's funny. Like he's not. He's to say that he's not a funny man. He's clever and he's witty. And the thing is, you can actually tell that he has at least beginnings of dementia. Not only the way he stands, but because he's losing that wit, that sharpness, that quick wittiness, and you can tell he's a lot slower. And he's sitting there, and it takes him more of a minute. And sometimes when he's on, but he has more minutes, more time where you can tell that he's very almost lucid, which he never used to be. Like for example, that debate that he had with Joe Biden, that made Joe Biden, have to step
Quit.
down months later. Yeah, it was a disaster for Joe
Womp.
Biden, but it was also a disaster for Donald Trump. But what saved him was that he had one moment of great wit where Joe Biden is over there rambling about something, and Donald Trump goes, I don't even know what he said, but I don't even think he knows what he said either. And that right there fucking made him look like $1 million goddamn dollars, and it made Joe Biden look like a senile old man. And that sealed it. After that, he won. And it was his wit. Like he is a funny guy. His roasts with Rosie O'Donnell back in the day were legendary. You know,
Yeah.
and he like if you heard him in the Bros podcast, that's why he got a lot of the young vote this time around that he didn't get the last time. Is because is a likable, funny guy. He's a bro. I'd like to hang out with Trump. I just don't want him running my country. There's different things, and I wouldn't want my daughter or anyone to fucking get near him. You know what I mean? But as like a guy that I don't think he's gonna grab my fucking pussy, I don't have a problem with him. He's a bro. If he was just doing his thing on the side, I would not give a fuck. But it's the fact that it's being president, doing the things he's doing, and right now, literally trying to destroy the government from within, and appointing these fucking psychopaths makes this a very, very sketchy time period to be alive in. So it's you can have your best friend who you don't want to live with, or your best buddy who you don't want to give him ever the keys to your car. This is the same thing here. I would rather him go back to doing real estate and fucking being on TV shows and hosting SNL and doing all those things than being president. That's just me.
Yeah.
But anywho, Mr.
Agreed.
I got a little story here for you.
Is it about Florida?
Not this time. And Florida, don't think we've forgotten you in this new season. We're gonna have an episode dedicated just to you, only to you. And we're gonna have a good buddy Ron Prendamano here.
Who?
That's
Just
right.
kidding. Just kidding. I love you, Ron.
The Ron Prendamano. No, seriously, who is that? And he is our Florida ambassador and better state representative than creepy pedophile Matt Gaetz ever was for you guys. So he'll come on and we'll talk about Florida. But no, this is not a Florida situation. I went to a wedding, a nice little Jewish soiree with Julie. And no, I'm telling you that it's Jewish because it'll come into play later. Otherwise, it wouldn't really matter. Not your racist grandpa that needs to identify ethnicities and
There's
stories.
a white guy, a black guy, and a Jew, and they all walk into a bar.
That's right. And the Jew was like, I forgot my wallet. Everybody was like, likely story. Wah, wah. Anyways.
For that before.
So we go to this Jewish soiree. It was Julie's friend. It was a really nice wedding, but I didn't really know too many people there. I'm just hanging out, doing a lot of people watching, you know, munching on the food, making sure I get in line at the buffet first.
A lot of matzo ball soup.
There was no, I
I'm
surprisingly
just
didn't see
kidding.
any. No, hey, you never know. But as the reception gets going, there is a very popular part of Jewish weddings. Some of you have seen the movie Wedding Crasher. It's in it where the bride and groom. That's right. They get picked up on the chairs. They raise them up and down, and everybody's celebrating, and you get fucking hyped. And I typically stay away from doing any of the lifting, and I did this night. I lifted a good friend of the show, Greg Silverman, at his wedding because he is my boy, and I wanted to make sure that he had proper liftage. You know what I mean? Because being dropped to me would just be the most embarrassing thing ever, right?
Yeah.
Well, some dumbass was not as forward thinking as me, and they didn't secure one of the chair legs correctly. And I turn around just in time to see uh, two people instead of three people, because they usually have two people in the back and at least a third person holding one of the front legs or the middle, or even two people. So there's just not enough people equipped for this situation. And they try to lift, and the fucking person comes crashing down to the fucking dance floor like belly flop. Bam!
No, not the bride. You
And
telling me
that's
they
to
dropped
make
the
it
bride?
worse. To make it worse, it was the bride. It
No,
wasn't even the
they
groom.
dropped this bitch on her head.
They dropped this bitch fucking
Oh,
face.
on
Just
her day.
bam, belly flop. Like it literally looked like she was doing a fucking frog splash in WWE. It was fucking awful. It looked painful as shit. But here's the kicker. This is I think credit to her. But I think anybody in that situation would have done the same fucking thing. She just completely no sold it. She quickly got up, you know what I mean, and like started trying to dance, and
Who
was like,
knows the electric slide?
but needless to say, that shit hurt. Like I would, if it would have happened to me, I would have like taken a minute. Yeah, they did not try the chair stunt again, and it was uh literally the shortest one. Like they made it halfway up, and she fell, and it ended. And of course, I look over at someone who is one of Julie's friends, but we're not. I guess maybe I shouldn't have said this. And I go, "Is this bad luck for the wedding? Are they going to get divorced now?" And I got like the biggest like, "How could you say that?" Look, I was like, "Oh shit!"
I mean,
So
it can't be a good sign.
absolutely right. Like, come on, dude. What kind of friends you got that can't fucking figure out to lift a goddamn chair right? She's especially. She's not a big girl. You know what I mean? It's not like there was any excuse to fucking drop her. Like, come on, people. But yeah, the secondhand embarrassment I got from that.
Well, let me tell you, when I die, I don't want her friends carrying my casket because I don't want my bones rolling around anywhere in the street.
Just roll out. Over all the Botox, your corpse would probably be great looking,
I hope
It's just
so.
sitting there smiling like
You're going to say, who's this 25-year-old elderly person?
That's
Oh,
right.
it's Chris.
He's 106 actually, but you couldn't tell his face hasn't moved in 83 years.
Yeah, that's my goal in life. Though,
Oh
whenever I go
man.
get work done, there's always that like a moment where the injectionist or the doctor is like, if you wanted, we could also do this and this and this. It makes you feel so bad about yourself. They're
Oh
like,
yeah.
after we accomplish this, the next thing we should really focus on are these trouble spots,
Mm-hmm.
and this asymmetry, and it. There's just the way I say it makes you feel so horrible.
it's the same thing. Like when you go to like a personal trainer in the gym, and you go for a very specific thing, but obviously they want to keep you there, making that private income as much as
Hmm.
possible. So I'm like, oh yeah, sure, you can work out totally. You want to make your arms bigger, absolutely, you can do that. And when we're done with that, we can get rid of those jelly rolls you got there on the side. You know what I
Oh my
mean?
God.
Like, squeeze, squeeze.
They talked about my back fat, my last trainer. Remember that? He's like, and we're gonna have to focus on the back fat. The what? He's like the rolls. I don't have rolls,
It's like, no, you don't see those, sir. Here, let me give him a squeeze. Get
dude.
out of here.
At the time, I was 150 pounds, 6 feet tall. There's no room for roll. I had no rolls, but the way he would make comments on the jiggle, like what? What an asshole!
Yeah. Yep, exactly right. That's why Julie and I started going to a new gym, and part of like the deal that we got,
You go to
uh,
Crunch now?
we go to Crunch, and it's a
Yeah, that's
great
a nice
gym.
one. Oh yeah,
I have to say, we got an awesome deal for the new year or like around the Christmas time. But one of the things is that it includes like 2 free personal trainer sessions. And Julie just booked her first one. And I'm like, no, I don't want to fucking do that shit. Like, no way. If I want to go to the gym to be insulted, like, I'll just call my mom and I'm there. You know what I mean? Like, no way. Not going to do it. At least, especially right now, like I'm working on like finally losing that quarantine weight that I kept on forever. And it's like I do not want some guy to start coming to my roles right now. That is like I will punch him in the fucking head.
dude. They always make you do things that are a little bit unconventional. So like with my trainer, I was like, please, please, please don't make me do the ropes. He's like,
Mm,
"Why?" "Because it's loud, it's in the middle of everything. I
yeah.
just don't wanna be the subject of ridicule. Please, can we just do whatever exercises you want to, like, on the outskirts of this huge gym and not front and center," you know? I feel like I'm pledging again because 'cause they're like, "Alright, in between this and that, do wall sits." I'm like, "Ugh."
We asked him to do that. Do not put you there. He put you there and took a shit next to your head.
Ugh.
Now work out next to my poopies, bitch.
Yeah,
But then,
that
then you pay him after, just like pledging. Literally just like
yeah,
pledging. Dude, I was watching the show actually before we get to the news story because we got to get to it. The show Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay. We
yeah.
got on Tubi actually. They have like the whole series. It's like 21 seasons. I fucking love me some Gordon Ramsay. So I want to get through the whole show. And Julie and I just finished season 2. But as I'm watching the show, I'm like, man, this feels very familiar. And then I'm like, oh, I get it. It's literally fucking Hell Week. It's
Yeah.
him hazing them. They literally wake him up with pots and pans at like 4 in the morning to have him do shit. I'm like, dude, I could crush this show. I have literally lived through this already. And there was dog food for me, not fucking cooking a 4-star meal. You know what I mean? So, yeah. And Gordon Ramsay just be like, "What are you, a fat donut? You fucking cow, get away from me, you fat piece of shit." He calls people fat all the time in these years. This is
He
like the
does.
2005s and 2006s, where people are still fat shaming. Doesn't age very well, but Gordon Ramsay can still pull it off because he's fucking Gordon Ramsay, and that's kind of his thing. But I can't wait to get to the season with the most iconic line ever in Gordon Ramsay and maybe reality TV show history. What are you? An idiot sandwich? That's what I was like. This man is a fucking legend. An idiot sandwich with little
He's
2 loaves of bread and around her fucking face. And this poor lady, I was like, he is a genius. Like I would
he's
never.
actually, like, kind of cute and endearing with his kids on social media.
Yeah, he's like a super nice guy is the thing. And you watch him off series when he's just like messing around. And when like people win challenges, he takes them off site to like, fantastic restaurants and will like actually like help them with their craft. And he's a fucking sweetheart of a man. But he's also like, you can tell that he's just a guy that when it comes to business, he can turn it on, and he knows how to be an asshole when he has to be, and he's very good at it. So he's making a career of it, and the British accent obviously makes it like way cooler. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Like when he calls someone a donut, it's like an American couldn't get away with that, but that's fucking cool as hell. So you fucking donut. It's like, ooh. So yeah, he is the man. He's the man. But anyways, someone who is not the man is the subject of this news story from Harris County, Texas, here in the U.S. of A. 42-year-old Lance Hoffpower, or Hoffpair, I don't know say his name, but it doesn't matter because he was arrested for being a piece of shit, being
Uh-oh.
accused of sending X-rated messages to an undercover officer who he thought was an underage girl.
Oh no. That's like our fraternity brother, Brycey boy. Was that his name, Bryce?
Well, we can't say his last name. I do not feel like having to edit this out, but that was one of his names. I'll tell you off air. And yes, no, I never hung out with him, but he was Simo's best friend.
No, 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 no.
Like hung out. Simo sent him letters in jail. Sent him pictures of him in a strip hole just so you could trade him for cigarettes. It was the whole thing. But anyways, he was the guy, Lance Huffpower or Huffpower, I don't know. He was asking for pictures, I quote, sending a bunch of different things and asking a bunch of different things.
Oh God.
We met the elements to charge him with online solicitation of the minor, which is a first-degree felony, as said by Constable Alan Rosen. Apparently, this is what makes it 10 times things worse. He was also, this guy Huffpower, a certified junior high teacher and also, put a pow, a church youth volunteer.
Of course. Of course. Of
Because
course.
it always is. It always is. But of course, investigators will not reveal which church. Apparently, also, he has 3 minor children of his own. So,
Ugh.
Father of the Year. And Rosen said those are alarming. And what's exactly why we're here in front of your camera today is to try and find out if there are any more victims. Because, basically, it made this seem like he has done it before. The guy was found 2 months ago when a member of the department's Internet Crimes Against Children unit posed as a teenage girl online, and the creep contacted her on social media. I'm just going to call him the creep because his last name is very weird. It's Hoff and then Pauir.
Huff power, payer,
Yeah.
Bowier,
Pauir? Is he
Bowie,
French? Is he? No, I
Huff
don't like
Bowie. I don't know.
It's Texas French. Hey, that's half power. What? That's half white power. Wait, what?
Lance Hawk Tua.
That's right. And so, that's how they get these people. As Rosen said, these kind of individuals reach out, and that's the way we make the cases. Court documents lay out his disturbing behavior, though. It says he sent around 30 sexually explicit photos on the Kik app, KIK, and referred to the undercover officer as his teen girlfriend. And while attempting to meet up, which is just such fucking second. I'm embarrassed for this guy. Court records say that he even referenced the TV show To Catch a Predator when asked if he's going to be in trouble. Is Chris Hansen
Maybe
here?
you have to ask.
Do I get to meet the Chris Hansen? Oh no, I just go straight to jail. Oh, damn it! I was hoping he was here.
I feel like, people like minors are so like naive, and like people that talk to minors,
Yeah.
they really are predators. I mean, they
Yeah.
really prey on this night. What's the noun for being naive? Naivety. Naivety. So they
Naivete?
they prey on the naivety, and like it's
Naivete?
sad. It's super sad. But I also think to myself, like if you're so gross and you really want to meet someone younger, like why not 10 years? If you're 42, meet a 32-year-old. And like they're gonna
Yeah,
be a lot younger. It's a different generation. They're gonna be in much better shape. If that's what you're into, then like keep it legal.
totally.
Like
But it's
I just
always
don't
these
understand.
fucking weirdos and creeps. And your message is also resounded by Rosen here, the detective, the cop, said, "Our message is parents be aware. They have people like this out there trying to solicit your kid, and you got to be involved in their social media platforms," which I agree. I'm not saying fucking spy on your kids, but definitely be aware and let them know, hey, don't talk to weirdos and strangers on social media, especially weirdos who ask for pictures and weird shit like that. There should be a red flag. You should teach your kids about online safety so they don't fall victim to some fucking creep youth pastor in Texas. And it's funny that uh, this comes out because I was talking to you off air about that guy who was a big MAGA guy, and not to keep poking a MAGA, but he was a huge, oh, everybody is a sex offender. We got to protect the kids, kind of redneck looking guy. And that was his whole, he would post online diatribes like that. And, pictures of Trump with Jesus. Well, he was just sentenced to 15 to 17 years in jail for trying to kidnap a kid, a little girl, to rape her. So the
Ugh.
pattern here seems to be like it's not the drag queens, Simo. I don't know if you noticed this. It's not the drag queens.
No, it's religious leaders.
Yeah, and these white guys who seem to have similar voting patterns and who like to call everybody else child molesters. But in reality, the call is coming from inside the house, Simo. Run!
Um,
Run!
I would bet you money that there's a large percentage of rich white politicians that have a laundry list of NDAs
Oh yeah.
because they probably maybe they're from money. They grew up in a culture of like I can do what I want and I can pay myself out of the consequences, you know?
Totally. I mean, it was pretty much admitted by Marjorie Taylor Greene herself was like, which is not always the essence of truth here. She does think
Ugh,
that
she is
the
such a cunt.
Jews,
I'm sorry. What a
she
stupid
think,
bitch.
she
And
thinks the
Nancy
Jews control
Mace,
the
ugh.
weather. But she got mad once and called out the Republicans, being like, "You guys better confirm someone." I forget who it was, maybe Pete Heggs or something. So you guys want to talk about skeletons in your closet? How many NDAs have been signed from people within this room? And they all got very quiet and fucking quickly confirmed another creep. Uh, or this other guy, I forget uh, what state he was when he was defending Pete Hexag's confirmation. He was like, "Ha, so what? He has a few drinks. How many of us in this room have come in to vote at midnight drunk? Huh? Yeah, you think he's the first person to show up to his job drunk? So what? He has a few drinks." And you could just hear the collective silence of, I can't believe this idiot just said that. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? But
The
uh, it,
hypocrisy is like
it
so
confesses a
laughable.
lot. It confesses a lot. That's like, that's why they're just adding to each their own, as they say. They're just grabbing their own people, and they're all the fucking same. These people are all awful. But yeah, message is, I don't know. Maybe the drag queen reading isn't as dangerous as they're making it out to be. So, and also watch out for your kids. There's fucking weirdos everywhere. So, you know, just keep an eye out. But anywho, Mr. Mo, it is now time to get to it because now that we're back, I don't know if you realize we just had a very special holiday. Well, it's arguably a holiday. I don't know. We're gonna call it a
Inauguration
holiday.
day?
That's right. Where we saw true love as Trump and Melania almost kissed. They're like 6 inches from each other, you know. but
Man,
not. But then days later, she saw Gavin Newsom, and then we saw true love, and she kissed him all over the cheek. I love you, Gavin. Take me with you. But we just had Valentine's Day, Mr. Mel, the holiday of love. And here's the thing about good old Valentine's Day. We love the season of love here at the Frat Chat Podcast. However, we know that love can be a bitch sometimes.
Yeah.
So we're here to share the worst Valentine's Day stories we could find, which we did thank to our good friends over at the interwebs. So if your Valentine's Day sucked this year, and baby, I've spoken to plenty of people this year whose it has, sorry. Don't you fear, because the Frat Chat Podcast is here. And yeah, that totally rhymed.
Oh, you
So
should be
shout
a
out to Reddit.
rapper.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out to Reddit, BuzzFeed, and The Guardian for these wonderful stories of awfulness to make your Valentine's Day feel a lot better. Whether you have a lousy boyfriend or fiance or husband, or you have no one at all. Not even a grandma to send you fake gifts like Simo does. We're here for you.
No, the worst is when my mom sends me candy that I'm allergic to. I'm like,
oh, you
Mom.
can't eat that? I guess I gotta take it back.
She's like, between you and your sister, there's so many allergies. I can't keep them straight. I'm like, there's one allergy, and it's mine, and it's peanuts. Please, no more Reese's peanut butter cups.
She's definitely making a gay joke there. It's like, I can't keep my son straight no matter what I do.
I know. Maybe she should have played a lot less Cher growing up. That could have helped.
That's right. Oh shit!
Stupid bitch.
Did you hear? I need to watch this because I missed it. But she popped up at the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary and performed, and she looked fucking great, dude.
Oh, she's always. She's like
her voice on point. They panned to Billy Crystal in the crowd, and he was literally in awe. Like, how does this bitch do it? Like, you could tell that's where it's like, how does this bitch do it? Like, what? It was. I need to watch that. The show looks awesome from the clips I've seen, and Cher looked fantastic. So I want to see. I saw also Post Malone and Nirvana did something together. Obviously, Kurt Cobain is long gone, but Post Malone took over Kurt Cobain's spot for the song, and it looked pretty cool. So I got to see what other appearances there are over on this SNL 50 show. But yeah, anyways, back to Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the worst Valentine's Days ever, and we're gonna start with Carlos's day yesterday. So
That's right.
I'm sorry that Julie's cooking ended up with you on the shitter all night. Do you want to talk about it, or is it still scarred?
Well, the shitter is not as bad as when they tell you don't eat naked when a clumsy girlfriend, folks. Listen to her, because now I have like a third circumcision thing going on over there. You know, it's what happens when you drop a knife around someone who's naked. Very bad stuff. So I'm going to be sitting down for a few weeks now. Thanks, Julie.
You know what I have a tendency of doing? I'm really self-conscious. I'm nervous about cooking meats because I never know if it's done all the way. I don't quite understand how to use a meat thermometer. So it's like when I make like chicken wings in the air fryer, I'm always like, "All right, babe, come here, try this. Is it done all the way? Is it cooked? Or what do you think? Should I eat it?"
Mario turns green. It's like, okay, maybe you need to go back for another 6 minutes.
There's been a couple times that he's like, I don't think it's warm all the way through. Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know, honey.
No! Oh my god. Osmario is now immune to salmonella. He can never get salmonella. He's already got it 6 times.
Yeah.
I will say, dude, Google is your friend. I used to not know the times of things, but now that I do, I make them perfect every time. Like, for example, you want a nice medium to medium rare burger. You do 4 minutes on one side, you flip it 4 minutes on the other side, flip it whack, put cheese on top, 1 more minute, you're done. Take it off. let it rest for a little bit. You can do a steak as well, medium rare, 4 minutes on one side, 4 minutes on the other side, let it rest for a few minutes. You good as well. So it's all about knowing the times. So depending on what you're going to cook, uh, like a chicken wing, you can do like on the air fryer, you can do, I don't know, like at 350 to 400, 8 to 10 minutes on each side. And then, so 10 minutes flip, 10 minutes, and then they're usually pretty nice and crispy. But if they're big wings, sometimes they can be 12 to 16 minutes on each side. Depends on what you're working with and how crispy you want them. So, but yeah, the air fryer also has been a godsend to me.
Oh my god, what a game changer, right?
Fucking love them, dude.
I
Especially
love my air
thanks to the
fryer.
chicken wings. They're really good. Make them nice and crispy. Then you can toss in some sauce. You got easy, quick buffalo wings. I love
What
them.
did you guys cook last night for Valentine's Day? Or did you guys go out?
No, we cooked. We stopped going out after we had like a bunch of like almost like fire festival situations at restaurants where they just jam pack it with people. Everything is, the service is slow. The food takes forever. So we're like, fuck that. We can't do this anymore. But we made a feast, Mr. Mo. And the beauty of cooking at home too, dude, is that you can get so much more food and like quote unquote fancy food for so much cheaper. Like we spent less than $80 in all the food. And it was I got scallops, I got oysters, we got two lobster tails, we got we got crab cakes, two crab cakes, and we made mashed potatoes.
That sounds
It was
amazing.
it was all that for under 80 bones. So it's like if we got all that at a restaurant, that's easy, like a $200 bill, maybe 150, on the cheap end. But here in New York, they would fucking screw you. But it was amazing, and then we had like chocolate covered strawberries and shit for dessert, uh, and all kinds of chocolate and stuff. So it was amazing. How about you?
We went we there's this bar near us called Domini's, and they had these little like tiny pizzas. So we couldn't decide what we wanted to do for food. So we went to this bar, had a couple beers and shots and a pizza while we thought about it. And we're like, you know what? Let's go to Mad for Chicken. Our favorite restaurant is called Mad for Chicken. It's Korean fried chicken,
Ooh,
but they
that's
also have seafood there too. So we
nice.
go there, got a drink. He got this like crispy chicken bowl with like quinoa or whatever. He wants to be healthy, and I was like, "That's great for you. It's a holiday, and I'm gonna have at it." So then I got, for like $30, I got, um, they prepare it in a bag. So it's like, they use this like garlic butter, sauce, and I had snow crab legs, so two clusters of that,
Oh,
and two like ears of corn and potatoes.
wow.
And they like steam it all together.
That's
And so
awesome.
it was great. Yeah, for $30, that's not bad, you know?
Yeah,
And
that's a
so
great deal. Yeah.
but if I wanted to do all you can eat crab legs, it's like $46, which is still a
Whoa,
great deal because I can put them out
amazing.
of business eating crab legs.
Oh,
I
fuck yeah.
love snow crab legs.
And that's one thing. I went to that seafood market. I got a bunch of the stuff at. Crab legs were expensive, like a pound of them. We're going for like $60. Some, which you can tell were good quality, were even $100. And for like 2 pounds, I was like, who? Like, and an all you can eat situation, I'm eating 3, 4 pounds of that shit. Like, bring it
Oh,
on.
totally.
I'll shit it all later. I don't care. But
Absolutely.
but
You know me
anyways,
from college when I would win the wing eating contest because no one was checking on me in the bathroom.
oh
I
no,
will Ralph and go back for more to get my money's worth. It's all about competition, bro.
it's so good,
Mind over
dude.
matter.
And in Ocean City, Maryland, too. If you guys are ever near Phillips Seafood,
Oh, Phillips. I love Phillips.
fuck yeah, all you can eat. It used to be like $29.95 or something during the day. I'm sure it's more now, but it is worth it. Whatever they charge, I don't give a fuck. Pay it. It's delicious. But anyways, we got two quick bad Valentine's Day stories that just crack me up, and then we'll get to our top 10. And the first one is from BuzzFeed Reader. Jags mullet, Jaeger's mullet, I guess. He bought me, and I quote, I guess my Valentine's Day, he bought me a massive, super expensive bouquet of long stem roses from a local florist. We ended up breaking up shortly thereafter, and he moved out. A couple of months later, I was going through my credit card statement and noticed a $200 charge on Valentine's Day
No.
from the florist. He bought
No.
me roses with my credit card.
No. Okay, so that reminds me, I dated this guy back in the day in Chicago. We actually lived together, and he had a lot of sketchy tendencies. I'm not sure what he's up to now. I'm hoping that he grew up some, but at the time,
Jail.
he was not.
Definitely
Who knows?
jail.
He was not making good decisions. So, um, I got like a promotion at my job. So my mom sent me like a Visa gift card. She said, "Go out to dinner on me." So I had the Visa gift card in my underwear drawer. It's like where a lot of people keep their, you know, private things or, you know, money or I guess like birth certificates, things like that, you know. So um
In their
I
ass.
I remember like one night coming home and he was like, "Do you want any Chinese food?" And I was like, "No, I'm good." Um and I took him and a friend of his out to brunch with this gift card.
Okay.
And so when we all went to pay, I was like, "No, no, no, this is on me. My mom gave me a gift card. Let's celebrate. I want to celebrate you guys." So he was like looking kind of nervous. And so I pull out this gift card and they were like, "It's not working." And I said, "Okay, no worries. Maybe I need to activate it." So I called and then I got put on hold or whatever. And then someone said, like, "Do you live at such and such address?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "Okay, it looks like um uh Chinese food delivery from this local place, like Double Dragon, delivered food
Oh.
on this date with this card." And I was like, "Huh." I was like, "The Chinese food that he offered to me, I actually paid for it." So I glared at him like, "You gotta be kidding me," because that was such a bad move to me. It wasn't like an exorbitant amount of money, but the fact that he went into my underwear drawer, pulled out
So
the
weird.
gift card that was stuck on my card stock backing. So he peeled it off, he used it, and then he put it back on like the card stock backing and put it back in my underwear drawer. Like
Ugh.
I wouldn't notice. Like, what a sketchy, like the fuck. I was so offended by that. And
And what was
then
he doing in
he
your underwear drawer to begin with?
he
Ew.
knew that's where I kept my good stuff, you know.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
but there's a lot of situations that like all add up now after that situation. But I remember I accused him of it, and somehow he was so good at manipulating that at the end of the
Mm.
conversation, I was apologizing to him for even accusing him. And then the more I investigated it, I was like, this motherfucker, he is guilty, and he like rerouted the narrative to the point where I was apologizing to him. No,
Oof.
he went through my undies drawer.
Oof. Wow. What a mental genius, though, I have to say. He
Oh my
stole from
gosh, he was
you
so
and
good at
made
that
you
stuff.
apologize. Jesus, that's a fucking like that's what is it? Not a psychopath. You know, kind of
Sociopath?
a sociopath. Yeah. That's fucking wild, but good for
Bad
her.
news. Bad
But
news bears.
yeah, they're probably in jail for sure. That usually, those kind of things usually don't just stop in those situations. But that's just me. Anyways, the next quickie is
I love a
from
quickie.
oh yeah, from BuzzFeed reader Singapore. No, this is not the whole country. I'm writing an entire story, though that would be pretty impressive. This is just a reader. It
Is Singapore
said,
a country?
yeah, dude, you know Singapore?
Well, I thought it was a city.
God, now you're making me Google this. Singapore. Yeah, it's a country. God, thank God. It's like, wait, please don't let me be the stupid one. Okay. Woo. Feel better again by myself. Don't worry, guys. Simo can't frown with all the Botox, so he's
Yeah.
fine. The pain for him is on the inside, not the outside. The outside looks great, I have to say. but, but anyways, from BuzzFeed Reader Singapore, I had secretly been dating someone, and he turned up with a box of chocolates with a letter on each of them, spelling out, "Let's break up."
No.
He had a crush on someone else. At least the chocolates were good. And I gotta say, this probably wouldn't work on Simo though, because dyslexia is a bitch, kids. But
I I I feel like I wouldn't have gotten it. So, but also, like, what if the box got jumbled up?
right? The fucking guy delivering it was mad that day. Just fucking drive through all the letters got mixed up. But yeah, God, I have to say though, that is very clever. If you're gonna dump someone, and you're gonna go through all the trouble to find a chocolate box and get all the letters specifically saying "Let's break up." I mean, I wouldn't even be that mad. It's kind of funny. You know what I mean? Like, at least you tried. It's better than
I
getting ghosted.
mean, it's like that's like a soft way. It's like, listen, I don't want to see you anymore. And I'm sorry, I know that sucks, but maybe these chocolates will make you feel better.
Totally. And they did say at least the chocolates were good.
Yeah.
Anyways, what you got first, Mr.
Well,
Man?
my first one's an easy one, and I saw this online. This is from some guy named Michael from Arizona. He's 75 years old, and he was like scarred for life because he remembers in second grade, the teacher got mad at them because they were so excited to pass their Valentine's Day cards to each other. So she told them that Valentine's Day was canceled, and she proceeded
Oh,
to rip up all the cards in front of the kids.
no.
Traumatic for 7-year-olds, you know?
What a bitch. Who does that?
Because
But
when,
he
when you were
said,
younger, wasn't it a big day that everyone brought like Valentine's Day cards for the
yeah,
whole class? And like the best cards are the ones that had like a little treat attached to it, like a Hershey Kiss or like
totally.
a little baggie of like the candy hearts that say "Be mine," you know.
Totally. And, they would have like roses that you can buy specifically if you had someone that you wanted to let them know how you feel that
Oh
day.
yeah,
And of course, I got rejected every time, but I tried.
yeah,
However, I will say that so if he's 75, when he was seven, fucking 60 something years ago, teachers were on some shit. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So I can very much see a teacher ripping up all their Valentine's Day cards just to be an asshole. They were probably hitting them with sticks back in the day, you know? But that can, oh, I'll be.
And then all we always, as kids, we always gave cards to everyone, including the teacher. So like, what a stupid bitch, because she probably had some of the cards that she ripped up were probably for her too, you know.
Or maybe that's the problem. They didn't give her anything and she was
But I feel
pissed.
like young kids are so sweet. They absolutely would have had cards for
Yeah,
her.
and
You know
there's
what I
always a
mean? Like,
suck up too. There's always a suck up who fucking loves like for example, did you have a kid in your class that called the teacher mommy and like kindergarten or shit like that, and the
oh,
teacher had
there's
to
always that one kid. Yeah.
there's always that kid, and she's like, "Okay, listen, I'm not your mom, kid. Like, and stop sucking on my titty. That's weird." But there's always a
Mm.
fucking suck up, and there's always a parent who is trying to suck up to the teacher. Maybe get a couple extra points there at the end of the year, so that C could be a B, or that D could be a C. Your kid doesn't get held back again. So there's always a goddamn suck up. So I don't know. Yeah, I agree. This bitch definitely shat where she ate that day, and definitely ruined some of her own snackies. But who does that? What a jerk. It goes to show not everybody should be a teacher.
Yeah.
Some teachers need to be paid better. And with that, you can find good teachers, be entitled to get the best teachers. And that's just me. But, anyways, I'm going to start with also some young love stories here. And these are two quickies, real quick, for the sixth graders. Because it goes to show that young love is a bitch. It's not just old love. It's not just as an adult. When you're a kid, young love is also just as big of a bitch. But, anyways, Reddit user LostFan815 said, in sixth grade, I had a crush on a girl, and I wanted to send her a rose, something the school did, but I didn't want her to know it was me. My handwriting is incredibly distinguishable, and I was really shy. So I paid one of my friends $1 to write her name and Happy Valentine's Day from your secret admirer on the card. He went to the desk set up at lunch and turned in the card. Everyone at my lunch table, I should have mentioned this took place during lunch, watched as one of the teachers delivered the card to Lauren. It was the girl's name. We continued to watch as she smiled and giggled to her friends. She then jumped up and ran to the desk where they were selling the cards and roses, wrote some stuff down, and ran back to her table. A few moments later, the teacher got up and walked over to my table, and she gave a card to my friend that I paid to write the note. It was from Lauren, the girl. She recognized his handwriting, and wanted to go on a date. He got up and went to her table and accepted the offer. Jackass.
What a douche.
Oh, I know, right? Like, what happened to bros before hoes, man? What happened to chicks before dicks? Like, I hear is a situation where I blame the parents because you may be too young to know about certain aspects of love and life, like sex and all that. Yeah, sure, you're in sixth grade, but you should never be too young to learn about bros before hoes and chicks before dicks, kids.
He
Come on,
violated guy code early on.
bro
And what
code.
he should have said was, I'm so sorry, that was actually from my friend, not from me.
Totally.
He should have said that.
Exactly. And then, if she rejects the other guy and you talk to the friend and he gives you the okay, then you can date her. It's okay. Your friend
Totes.
is-
But I also think this is a life lesson for the little chump boy who was too scared to write a fucking card. I mean,
That's true.
you're not even handing it to her. You're
That's
writing it,
true.
you're giving it to a teacher, and they're doing the dirty work, you know?
That's right. So,
And disguise your handwriting.
yeah, be better. Use your other hand,
But whether or not he's concerned about the handwriting, obviously at the lunch tables they see who's getting up and like walking over to that table. You know what I mean?
Totally. Totally. And then they watch,
Handwriting's irrelevant. They saw who delivered it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So another quickie here. Reddit user Z Prime. In sixth grade, I asked a girl in my class out on Valentine's Day before she could answer. No, I'm sorry. In sixth grade, I asked a girl in my class out on Valentine's Day. His punctuation is pretty shitty. Before she could answer, my female teacher said quite loudly, "Ha! You're not going to go out with that loser, are you?" Because
Aw.
she might have been joking, but it didn't sound like it. The girl I asked out went from having a smile on her face to a disappointed look. She then turned to my teacher and said, "No." Well, I made the walk of shame back to my desk.
Oh,
Oh,
that's so mean.
buddy. That just makes me feel so bad for her. Woo! Yeah, that's painful. Teachers can be assholes, dude. Especially at that age, especially if you have like a younger teacher when you're, about to hit those teenage years. Sometimes they themselves were teenagers not that long ago. And they kind of
Yeah.
become like friends of the students. And that's when sometimes teachers roast the fuck out of you. I've seen it firsthand, especially, I will say sometimes they're roasting the kid who like disrupts the class, and that's kind of entertaining to see. But I have seen teachers pop some jokes, and I'm like, damn, that hurts.
I remember I remember teaching theater and in Baltimore City, and the kids were using like terminology I wasn't familiar with. I said, "What does this mean?" And they were like, "Oh, you should look it up on urbandictionary.com." I'm like, "Oh, I've never
No,
heard of this." And
no.
so I was like looking through and and we were all giggling and they totally like rerouted like the intention of that class. But I was like, "Oh wow, I had such a great day today in class and no one learned anything except for me, you know." Anyway, but I was closer to their age, I guess, because I was like fresh out of college.
Mhm.
Anyway, my next one was from someone anonymous, and it says here, It was my first Valentine's Day with my new girlfriend. I had very little money as I was working only part time. I remember she had mentioned she liked a specific brand of bubble bath. So I had bought her the bubble bath and a nice card and wrapped them up specially for her. We went out for our special Valentine's dinner. In the middle of dinner, she broke up with me. She
No.
deliberately did it in public so I wouldn't cry or anything. When it came time to pay, she suddenly discovered that she had left her wallet in the car. So she stuck me with the bill and she left.
He's got to get the womp womp again. Oh
Yeah,
man.
I've got a couple I got a couple comments about this. So there's been times so uh, a date is like an audition. Like if you're an auditor, you know if you want to work with this person within the first few seconds of meeting them. So
Totally.
so on a date, like you know if it's going well or not, you know.
Mhm.
There's been times like on like a first date that I just can't say it. I'm just like I'm so I can tell that they like me more than I like them, and
Right, right.
so I have been the one to say, listen, I don't think it's gonna work out, and I'm gonna pay for everything.
Yeah.
I think it's only fair. There's been times I've even paid for it and dipped out because I don't want to stick them with the bill. So
Right.
I tell a server like, I'm not going back to my table. Can you pay? I'm going to pay for this, and then I will text them be like, sorry, I left to make it less uncomfortable. It's paid for. Enjoy the rest of your night. You know,
Ooh,
like
God,
I've
that
done
would
it
crush
before.
me.
But if you're gonna let someone down and then expect them to pay for what was a horrible meal, like that's a bitch move, you know.
Totally.
I also wanted to say that remember when we did that comedy show and that guy brought me a bouquet of flowers and sat in the
Yeah.
front?
I'll never forget that. That was like
That
the
was
biggest bouquet I have ever seen, too.
oh my god. And he was telling people that we were dating. And I remember I asked him to meet me for like coffee and light bites or something at this place in public because I was scared. And
Yeah.
so I met him in public because I didn't know how he was going to react. And I said, listen, like, I just want you to know that although you very well might be a nice guy, you're not my guy. Like, we are
Right.
not dating. So you need to stop telling people this. And we're not going to, and at this point, I'm a little concerned. I'm just nervous and I'm not going to see you ever again. I don't want you coming to me on comedy shows. Because
Well,
sometimes
thanks
people
for
will
coming.
sometimes people will find us comedians on like Instagram and like comment on
Mhm.
something and then they want to start a conversation and then they think that you're homeboys or like
Mhm.
dating. No.
Totally. And here's the thing. Again, the thing about the bouquet being so large is that, again, in a comedy club, it's already rare to see someone there with flowers. But maybe someone's doing a special, they're doing their half hour for the first time, their hour, you give them some flowers and they like it. Okay. But this was a bouquet, like if your fucking grandma had just died or something. It was like
Oh my god.
huge. It was
And
in a basket, in a giant basket. Like how the fuck, imagine. And this stage was downstairs, so imagine him going down the stairs at this fucking venue with this goddamn giant basket. Oh my god.
and anyone that knows me knows that I hate getting flowers. I just feel so emasculated. But I'm sure there's a lot of gay guys that would love flowers. I'm just not the guy for him. But there is
Oh,
someone out there, I'm sure, that would really have appreciated it. It's just not me.
totally. I just imagine him. Did he take the subway with that giant bouquet?
Ooh,
Like,
probably.
it's like, oof, man. This thing was massive, people. It's like you really, you got to see it to believe it. But anywho,
Anywho, what's next on your list?
on to the next one. This one, Michael, I goes to show anybody that just because you have an admirer doesn't mean it's a good thing. So, this one was also from an anonymous user, but she goes, I received a gift from my boyfriend, and I came home to 12 roses with a card that only had two hearts and an arrow drawn through them. I called to thank my boyfriend, who was working his midnight shift. And here's the thing, he said that he didn't send them.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
And then I heard something in my backyard, and
Oh,
it felt like someone was watching me. My boyfriend called me down on the phone, and then I went to bed. I woke up, went to start my car, and there were two hearts with an arrow drawn in the snow on my windshield. I called the cops, and it turned out that it was my daily courier driver from work who had fucking done it. What a fucking creep!
yeah.
Ooh! Ooh! So it's like a male guy essentially just watching her. But, ooh! It gives me
Um,
chills.
there was this moment in Chicago where I lived in this like really fancy apartment building. There used to be a hotel that was like haunted because Al Capone like killed a lot of people there, and
Yeah.
so uh like their ballroom they turned into a gym. It was so beautiful. I miss living there, but uh I would leave there, go across the street. Well, I guess maybe like across the street and like down a little bit, let me catty corner to this
Uh-huh.
cafe. And this guy that worked there asked me if I wanted to go out one day and like get a bite to eat. And I said, okay. And that morning of the date, I go downstairs and the woman at the front desk, she said, well, I have something for you. And I was like, what? And it was a cupcake
No.
at my building. And I was like, oh, and it just said like a note that said, I'm looking forward to our date. Um,
Oh.
and I was really puzzled because she's like, isn't that sweet? I said, well, I didn't tell him where I lived, you know.
Oh.
So that's a little creepy. And then
Oh.
I did go on the date just to tell him that I gave him the cupcake back and I said, I didn't tell you where I lived. That was really creepy. And so like,
That's terrifying.
um, I I know that when I would go to this cafe, I know we would lock eyes sometimes and a little bit of flirtation here and there. But in order for him to have like known where I lived, he had to like have followed me out one day and to see me walk into that building because
I was gonna say, how would he have known?
it was like down the street a little bit, but I just think that was so creepy,
That's
right?
terrifying, dude. Oh, that's like some shit a serial killer would do too. You know what I mean? Start with a cupcake, and then they leave a
I
note.
feel like whenever you have a moment, I feel like our like bodies, like our minds, we our like intuition deserves more credit because
Uh,
we when we have a situation that feels like it's not so kosher, like the hair on the back of our neck stands up, or like we get
uh,
that feeling like this isn't good. And but people never listen to that feeling. I
mhm.
always listen to that feeling. I'm so thankful for
Always.
that feeling. I'm like, I'm out of here, you
Fuck
know?
yeah. Fuck yeah. So many people who have had like awful crimes happen to them always report that feeling you're talking about.
Hmm.
Saying, yeah, well, something told me, but I was like, nah, it's okay. I'll let it go. And they always say, I wish I would have listened to that feeling. God, it's true. Your body lets you know this shit's sketchy. Also,
Yeah.
dogs know as well. A
Oh,
good dog.
totes. And when I was younger in Chicago and I was living with that guy that stole my gift card, I remember when we would go grocery shopping, even early on in our relationship, whenever it's time to pay, like I was always like, where did he go? I never thought to myself, like, oh, he doesn't have money. Like he loaded the cart up with all his favorite foods, and then when it's time to pay, he's like, oh, let me go look at this magazine cover on the other side of the shop, you know. So I should have known then. If I knew then what I know now, after a couple of those
Yeah,
grocery trips, I would be like, I don't think this is gonna work. I could have
yeah.
saved myself a gift card, you know?
Experience is a cold, hard teacher, my friend.
Yeah,
It
that's the truth.
sure is. Anyways, uh, is it my turn? It's your turn,
It's your
right?
turn.
Oh yeah, sure. Sorry.
Oh wait, no, it's my turn.
Yeah, asshole.
Okay, so this one's also from some anonymous person, so I can't give them credit. Um, so this says brand new boyfriend and our first Valentine's Day. He slept all day and decided he needed a haircut at the last minute. Went to someone he wasn't familiar with and she messed up his hair. He then
Mwah.
goes to his regular barber to get it corrected, but by this time, It's 6 p.m. and he hasn't even showered. He shows up to my house 2 hours late, no flowers, no candy, no gift. I'm still excited to have dinner with him and overlooking all the glitches. By the time we arrive to the restaurant, they are packed with Valentine's Day couples, and we end up at a dive at 8 p.m. eating buffet quality
Oh,
food. It really was a foreshadowing of our entire relationship. So
oh,
like I I can relate to this because remember when I was dating that actor when I first moved to New York,
yep.
and he I wasn't familiar with New York. He was. Uh, I made more money than him. He was a struggling actor. I mean, he's successful now, but at the time he was struggling, and he's like, uh, "I want to go out someplace nice, but I'm low on funds." And I said, "You plan it. I'll pay for it. It's okay. Plan whatever you want, and then I'll pay for it." And so he didn't make reservations. We went to like restaurant to restaurant to restaurant. Manhattan, like you have to book weeks in advance for Valentine's Day if you
Yes.
want something nice. We ended up um going to I think it's called Otto's Tacos.
Yes. Yes.
We
I
had a
have
beer
been
and a couple
involved.
tacos, and then he like broke up with me over the phone like a couple weeks later. So I realized he probably didn't even think that we would make it that long.
Totally.
And last minute was like, oh shit. So I knew I feel like when there's no effort made for Valentine's Day or any like holiday, that's a good sign that like they're not that into you. I think what
Totally.
happened was so he's Korean
Mm.
and for Christmas, we've talked about this before, but for Christmas, we were in like some department store a couple weeks prior, and he pointed to a rice cooker, and he said, "Wow, I've always wanted a nice rice cooker like that." And I thought, "Oh, okay, he's dropping a hint." So for Christmas, he opened up a rice cooker, and his
Right.
reaction was not good because
What?
he's like, "My white boyfriend gave his Korean boyfriend a rice cooker." I was like, "Oh, but it's the one that you wanted, you know?" He was like, but still, like, you don't see the problem with this?" And I remember telling my mom, and my mom was like, "You don't give an Asian a rice cooker, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't give a Jew a dreidel, you know? There's a lot of things that are just not nice." It's like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that," you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. To be fair, I see the point, but I would have also taken it as a hint, especially during Christmas time. But I don't
So
know.
and he gave me a book. Like, I'm dyslexic. What
Ah,
the fuck am I gonna
no,
do with
no,
a
that's even
book? I might
worse.
kill a bug with it. I'm certainly not gonna read it,
That's an insult.
asshole.
Give me
Whatever. I
a.
hope he's doing well in life, but he shouldn't have dumped me over the phone. That was nice. And then when he dumped me over the phone, he did it during the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And if he knew that there was one thing that brought me joy in life, it was the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills at that time. And
No,
to call and interrupt my joy
not the
to dump
housewives.
me over the phone, I was like,
Not
what?
the housewives. Oh, that makes me sad. I'm sorry, Simo.
What
I
can you
hope at
do?
least I hope at least it was talking over Yolanda, talking about her Lyme's disease. My
Oh,
Lyme's
Yolanda.
disease. I don't
I
know
love
if
me
you
some
know.
Yolanda.
I couldn't do anything today because of my Lyme's disease. My Lyme's disease makes me very sad. Have you heard of Lyme's disease? Ma'am, this is a Wendy's. Would you like a number one or a two? Oh, I don't know. It's hard to think when you have so much Lyme's disease in your life. There's Lyme's disease everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna need you to pull the cart forward. Oh, wait, Lyme's disease. It's
Okay,
all this
so
pain.
I'm not going to discredit her experience with Lyme disease. I don't have Lyme disease, so I can't relate to it. But part of me is like, listen, like when you get older, like, you're not a spring chicken anymore. So
So,
when she's like, "I'm so tired." Yeah, well, you're pushing 60. Like, that makes sense to me. You know what I mean? And then she also had, like, when people get breast implants, they don't realize that, like, they have a shelf life of, like, 15, 20 years. So you have to get them
totally,
replaced. And she
totally.
went overdue getting her breasts redone, and I think one has
Oof.
spilled. And so she
Oof.
remember that episode where she had to get, it removed,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I think that she started to get some recovery after that. So, like, there was a lot of emphasis on Lyme disease, but, like, you have a lot of things going on, girl.
Totally. That was also my thing. It was just always like a convenient excuse. And also like, good lord, how many times can the woman say Lyme's disease in a goddamn sentence? We get it. You have Lyme's disease. We're very aware. You have told us 17 times in the last 48 seconds of your conversation.
Even her husband got sick of it.
I know. He laughed.
Yeah,
Ugh.
he was like, I can't deal with this anymore.
And
It's a
here's
lot
the
of
thing.
discussion of Lyme disease.
I called it. I told Julie that man, like he would, especially in the earlier stuff with the Lyme disease, they would have these parties, and he would have these like performative speeches about sticking with her and how much he loves her. I was like, oh, this man's talking out of his ass. He's just saying that because he knows that makes him look like a good husband, and he's relishing in that right now. But that's a man who is going to get tired of the shit, is going to leave her. I promise you.
Well, you know how they met?
It was true.
He was friends with her ex-husband, and then he saw pictures of her on her ex-husband's wall, and he was like,
Wow.
"Wow, she's beautiful." And her ex-husband, his friend, was like, "Don't date her. That's my ex-wife, the mother of my children." And then, what was his name? Foster something? Ben
Yeah.
Foster? No, not Ben Foster.
No, not Ben Foster. I forget the guy's name, but yeah, yeah. No.
David Foster.
Yes, 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 yes.
He has like a gazillion Grammys.
Yep.
Now he's with McPhee. What's her name?
Lily McPhee?
The girl from American Idol. She's a runner
Catherine
up.
McPhee?
Catherine McPhee. Yeah, I think that they're married now.
Wow, that was
She's
quick.
beautiful.
Yeah, she's a babe. But I just knew. And Julie would get so mad. He was like, stop saying things like that. How do you even know? Trust me, dude. I know a dude talking out of his ass when I've seen one.
Oh yeah, of
And
course.
boom, then the episode comes. They're divorced. And I'm like, ha! I told you, bitch. That's when I knew I was way too invested in the show, though. Like, I need to take a minute to decompress. Man. But anyways, speaking of, actually, I was going to say dad of the year, but in this case, this actually is the dad of the year. This one comes from Reddit user Hang on Every Word. And okay, so they go, oh, okay, okay. I was 17. My boyfriend of a year broke up with me over the phone while I was visiting my dad in another city. An hour later, my mother called sobbing because she'd had a knockdown, drag out fight with her boyfriend. My stepmom had been verbally abused and then called into work by her heinous boss. It was a Saturday. So, my poor shell shocked father, dealing with three crying women, tried to make it better by taking my stepmom and I to a movie at the end of the day. My stepmom was really late getting out of work, so we missed the movie we wanted to see and settled for something none of us really cared about. So we just had something to do. After the movie, we went to dinner. My dad dropped my stepmom and I off in front of the restaurant and then pulled around the corner to park. And when he was hit by an oncoming car.
Horrible. What a day.
He said he was fine, but the car was totaled. Worst Valentine's Day ever.
Do you
Oh,
think
God.
do you think he did that on purpose? He's
Yeah,
like, I gotta get the attention off uh
right.
these crying ladies.
He went, Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus, like, it doesn't work like that. Oh,
Oh,
God. That's the worst day. Poor man, dude. Poor man. Oh, God. And he was hungry too. On his way to dinner, not even post dinner. Oh, God. I feel so bad for that guy. But yeah, that is definitely a worse Valentine's Day than most
well,
people will have.
I got one that involves the parent, but I wouldn't say this was the mother of the year. This was a mother who should have done a better job raising her kids. So here goes. This one is from user Sierra
Hedrick?
Hedrick 3.
Yeah, BuzzFeed.
Okay. So she writes, my boyfriend of over a year said he had planned a whole afternoon, so I got all dressed up. He texted to say he was leaving home and on his way. Several hours later, he had never shown up. I tried to call, text, everything, and got no response. So of course, I was afraid something had happened. He gotten into a wreck or something. I was terrified, calling, even driving the route towards his house, still nothing from him anymore. I was distraught. Finally, maybe 8, 10 hours later, I got a text from his mother telling me to
No.
leave her son alone. He didn't want anything to do with me anymore. And if I tried to contact him again, she would get a restraining order. He broke
What?
up with me, but never actually, told me. Literally never heard from the guy again. So, like, I'm sure the mother didn't know that he had got her like amped up about the fun-filled afternoon. So
Oh,
the mom is going off of limited information, but as far as I'm concerned, mommy, if you're out there listening, you raised a
yeah,
pussy
you're just a
bitch of a
bitch.
man.
Like, what? How are you gonna have your mom text a girl? Like, that is so shameful.
Leave my son alone. Yikes.
Jeez. Ugh. Ugh. Even in my fucking late 30s, whenever my mom texts Julie about anything to get to me, I'm like, bitch, you can call me. Leave her alone. It's like, no. And they're friends. Like, it doesn't even, it's like, it doesn't even bother Julie. But it's like, for me, it's like, there's like a boundary thing about your mom texting your significant other, in my opinion, that just should not be
I
crossed.
agree.
Like, what the fuck? That's so weird.
But
Ugh.
I just feel like
Should have
if
break
if
up.
something's out of character, I would have done the same thing as she did. So if my husband, even before we
Absolutely.
got married, if he was like, I have something planned, and then hours and hours go by, I don't hear from him at all. Of course, I'm gonna think the worst. Any
Totally.
any romantic partner, any parent, any friend will think the worst. If you make a commitment, and
Totally.
you like ghost them, of course they're gonna panic.
No, totally. I actually was guilty of doing it to my college girlfriend. We had in college we had this day called Tiger Fest, where you would get
Oh, I
hammered.
love Tiger Fest.
Fuck yeah! It was a day of all drinking. There was like an awesome band that would come to play. There was a concert. It was pep rallies, all good stuff. And just everybody got hammered. And I was at a pregame party at one of the fraternity houses. And at this point, I had had a few, but I was still sober when I was texting my at the time girlfriend, who we had not officially started dating yet, but we were very close to that point where I asked her. I was a couple weeks before, and we had been hanging out a lot. And her friend was in town visiting for Tiger Fest, and I was like, "Hey, what are you doing? I can come pick you up and come bring you guys to this party. It's very fun. Just let me know when you're ready." And of course, in the meantime, I'm proceeding to drink and drink and drink.
Oh
So
yeah.
by the time she told me she's ready for me to pick her up, I am fucking hammered out of my mind. So I go, okay, I just need 5 minutes to sit on this couch and then I'll go get her. And next thing I know, like 3.5 hours, 4 hours had passed. And the party was still going, but it was winding down. People had gone somewhere else. And I have, a million missed calls, texts, and shit. She's so fucking concerned. And of course, she's had a few drinks too. So she's super worried. And to make things worse for her end, she had seen that there was like an ambulance and a fire truck and a bunch of cop cars around the area because there had been a car accident nearby that was like apparently fatal. So she's
So
thinking
she's
that it's
basically
me.
unzipping the body bags, like, my boyfriend might be in here.
Yeah.
He's not my boyfriend yet. Let me just take a quick peek.
Just to make sure.
Yeah.
And she's thinking the worst, that I'm dead, or maybe that I'm like, I'm hooking up with someone or whatever, breaking up with, who knows. And so like it took me so long to like apologize to convince her, listen, I just fell asleep on this couch like an idiot. But at the same time, it's better that I didn't come pick you guys up. Probably would have fucking gotten a DUI at the stage that I was at. But I have totally again been guilty of making someone fear the worst. But I didn't have my fucking, I took it as like it's a good thing she was concerned for me. It would be awful if she wasn't concerned. You know what I mean? I would never have my mom fucking dump her ass over that. It was my fault. So I don't know. It goes to show Some men are trash, ladies. I don't blame you for saying that.
You know what? I remember I dated this girl on and off in college. Me, of all people. I dated a girl, and
What?
poor dumb bitch. No, so one time we were leaving a fraternity party, and she called Jimmy Cab.
Yes,
Remember Jimmy Cab?
do.
And
I
so she called Jimmy Cab, and they said we'll be there. The dispatcher was like, we'll send someone out to that location. And it was cold outside. We're waiting, and she called a couple of times. We're like, they're on their way. Like, we're really busy, but there's someone en route. And she was so impatient because she was so cold. And like, girls at these parties would dress like total skanks. I mean, like,
totally little
it wasn't
skirts,
practical to like
no
the weather,
jackets.
And so she called back and she ripped this person a new one, like read this woman to filth, said some horrible things. And I remember thinking that in that moment, like, I I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah, no,
This is bad,
no.
like I'm cold too, but someone doesn't deserve to be spoke to that way. And then there's a couple moments when she spoke to me that way, and I remember thinking to myself, I remember the way he spoke to Jimmy Cab, and I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. Womp womp, I can't do. Anywho,
And
okay,
that's
so
the moment Sibo became gay.
yeah, are you the next one?
Yes, I am. So this one, this was tough. So this one was by Fiona from British Columbia, and I believe this one came from the Guardian. But sorry if I got that one wrong. But I'm pretty sure it's the Guardian. But anyway,
Did the UK like colonize Colombia?
British Columbia, yeah, back in the day, it was the UK's.
As- I feel like I should Google this before I ask you questions. I don't know where British Columbia is. I know
It's in
Colombia.
Canada.
Wait a second.
No,
Let
it's
me
not
see.
Columbia, Maryland.
No, Colombia, the country Colombia.
No. This is Columbia with a U, kind of like like Columbus. And there's a Columbia, Maryland too.
Oh, so British Columbia is in Canada on the west coast,
Yeah. Like
I guess.
Columbia. You remember Columbia in Maryland? Same
Yeah, my
way.
sister lives in Columbia, Maryland, but British Columbia, I for a second I was like, if it's British Columbia, then why do they speak Spanish?
No.
Colombia,
Jesus.
like near where you grew up in Venezuela, you guys are neighbors.
I'm very aware.
Let me tell
I'm
you,
very
maps are
aware.
confusing. With
He's
North
back, ladies and gentlemen.
Macedonia and Macedonia, you got Colombia, you got British Columbia, you got Colombia, Maryland. It's too much.
Oh, my IQ is dropping by the second with this conversation.
Yeah.
But anyways, Fiona 58 from British Columbia, Canada, said 20 years
Canada,
ago.
the 51st
Uh,
state. Ooh,
that's right.
it's a big state.
It's a very big state, believe me, folks. If you guys want better health care, wait, what? But anyways, 20 years ago, my husband, 1.5-year-old son, and I were living in California. My husband very sweetly decided to make me a Valentine's Day lunch, including a ham sandwich. I love ham sandwiches. Anyways, with a flourish of the knife, he opened the plastic packaging of the ham, and he also took off the top of one of his fingers.
Oh God.
Oh!
But you can sew it back on.
Yes. So there was a lot of blood. So I ran around finding things to wrap the hand in. It was clear he had to go to the emergency department. But where was the top of the finger? Well, we weren't quick enough, and the dog ate it.
No. Oh, God. No.
The rest of the day was spent in the hospital. On the bright side, he did learn how to do the perfect circumcision that day. So now he has a lot of job offers. He just
Yeah.
needs to convert. But oh, dude, that's so awful.
Do you
Can you
know what
imagine getting
the
dog kisses after that? It's like, what?
Oh gosh. The dog, every time you give the dog a treat for going to the bathroom outside, the dog's like, I want the other treat that was really
Yeah,
good
right.
last
This was
time. Where's
better.
those treats?
That's the day the dog developed a taste for human blood.
Yeah.
His name
Oh,
is
that sucks.
Cujo.
It's like that episode of Friends where Chandler Bing lost the tip of his finger and they thought they had
Yes,
it all nice, but it was actually a carrot,
a
right?
carrot or something, and it was in his toe. Was it his
Oh,
what?
toe. Yeah, I think it was toe.
It was like his pinky
Yikes.
toe. Oh
I mean, who
God,
really
yes.
cares about the toes anyway? You know what I mean? Like, no one's looking.
Well, you'd be surprised. Some of them control your balance. So
Oh, really?
if you lose your big toe, you gotta like relearn how to walk because that little
Oh, well, I
controls.
guess so. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's crazy, crazy, crazy. But
Well, this
anyways,
is
we're
my last
down.
one.
That's right. We each have one left.
This is the last one, and this is from an anonymous person, too.
All right.
And is it pronounced Interpol?
Yes.
Interpol? Interpol?
International police.
Oh, I didn't know that. That
There
makes
you go.
sense. Okay.
You're
So
welcome.
this is an anonymous person who wrote, I think it's on BuzzFeed, wrote,
That's
I
a
have
good
been
start. Well, you got to ask about Interpol. So this is going to be good. Okay, let's go.
I have been dating a colleague slightly senior to me and quite a bit older. He invited me to Madrid for Valentine's Day weekend, and I booked a lovely hotel. It's interesting that he invited her, but she
She
booked
booked
the
the hotel.
accommodations.
Yes.
We flew in on Friday evening. On Saturday, while sightseeing, we were stopped by two members of Interpol. They
No.
questioned my partner at length and demanded to see his passport. My Spanish was rudimentary at best, but from what I could glean, they thought he was a drug dealer. Later that afternoon, we went to a large art exhibition and realized we were being followed. That evening, we went to dinner and I made a comment about maybe introducing him to my parents. But we had a heated discussion which continued through the following morning and onto the plane where we finally split up. It turned out that he had a second driver's license with a different name in his wallet. So who knows who he even was? Girl, you dodged the bullet.
That's
He was a drug dealer.
creepy.
Of course he was.
Absolutely. This probably was a drug trip, even. And that's why he didn't want to meet your mom because he didn't want to meet someone else to identify his ass. That
Yeah,
is
that's why he
fucking
had her book the
crazy.
hotel.
Yep.
He didn't want a paper
Yep.
trail.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
She was his alibi.
Fuck.
And I feel like we see this in movies, but like I just think that Interpol isn't gonna just follow someone on a whim.
Absolutely.
If
They
they're involved, there's been
track
a
it down.
lengthy investigation.
Absolutely. And it's a multinational scheme when Interpol gets into play. It's like the FBI in the US as opposed to your local police. At this point, this is the man who's doing international drug smuggling and
Yeah,
multiple countries police agencies are aware of it, and that's why Interpol gets involved. So this is fucking nuts. Holy shit. And it's so crazy to be traveling with someone and not even know their fucking name, their real name.
yeah.
Woo, that gave me chills. That's like, yeah, she definitely dodged a bullet there. Literally,
My name is
literally a
Eugene. There, I said it.
bullet. So, oh God, no wonder you changed it.
Yeah.
Really, all the names you got Eugene. Oh man, but anywho, on to my last one, and this is literally my nightmare. But this is by BuzzFeed user. Digital mom is awesome, and this story is not. She goes, my husband and I wanted to do something simple for Valentine's Day, so I just went to the grocery store to get everything to make a homemade ice cream sundaes. I had an itch in my ear, however, so went into the bathroom when we got home to use a Q-tip. She goes, I know. Husband comes barreling into the bathroom and accidentally hits my arm, pushing the Q-tip into my ear. It then immediately starts gushing blood
Oh my gosh, you probably ruptured
out
her
of
eardrum.
her fucking eardrum. We spent the rest of the evening in the ER, And the following Valentine's Day, I also ended up in the ER. So ever since then, our goal is just not to be in the hospital, and we're having a good year. However, to be fair, you know what they say? A hole is a hole. You know what I mean? High five, buddy. Oh, yeah.
High five.
Yeah, man, nice. My wife. No, but that would literally be my nightmare. Like, I still use Q-tips, even to say they're not great for you,
I
but
use them.
I use them all the time.
I love
My my doctor has literally told me I have never seen a cleaner eardrum, like a clear ear canal. Sorry, not eardrum, than yours, which to me is the nicest thing ever. But because I love Q-tips, but it has literally been my fear. Like, what if I'm using a Q-tip and I like fall and it goes into my ear, or someone opens the door or elbows me, some accident, and it just plop goes in there. It's like my biggest fear. Like, it's like some irrational phobia because obviously it's never happened to me. But the fact that it's happened to someone, it goes to show I'm not crazy. This shit can happen, people.
know what we
Watch
should
out.
do? We should go together and record the experience of us getting our getting an ear candle wax treatment. And what they
Oh,
do is they light this candle next to your ear.
yeah.
Somehow it
Definitely.
draws the wax out of your ear.
Yeah. Now, my question is, because I've read about people's opinions on both ends, if that's actually really your earwax, because I have done that, and you kind of feel, a little bit of warmth in your ear, but like stuff like always comes out. So my thing, it's like, what if it's just like the candle melts, and that's really what you're seeing, like the wax thing. Because the candles themselves are kind of made of like a waxy material, so it might be a scam. But I would totally like to see, especially if your ears are like really clean and stuff still comes out like a fuck ton versus someone whose ears are really dirty. That's kind of how I would figure it out. But I do remember doing it, and I do remember it feeling kind of nice.
Okay.
So
Noted.
I would try it again. I would also like to try. They have these little like hook things that come with a camera, so you can actually watch your ear canal as you're doing it, and like you just pull out all the wax.
Oh,
And
I've seen that on TikTok.
yeah, I would
The
love to
TikTok
try
shop
that.
has some good stuff, guys.
It really does. It has some scams in it, so watch out. But they definitely have some good stuff.
The biggest scam was it shutting down. Do you remember when like it was gonna shut down and then there was this like bulletin that said thanks to President Donald Trump,
Yeah,
he saved TikTok.
even though he was the
Okay.
one that got it almost shut down to begin with. But that's wild. I can start a fire and put it out, and then say I'm a hero.
Yeah.
In today's America, so I'll take it. I'll
Yep.
take it. But anyways, folks,
That's our list.
that was our list of awful, horrible, sometimes very painful, physically, mentally, and emotionally Valentine's Day stories. To let you know that if your Valentine's Day sucked, you're not alone.
Yeah,
It
and
could
if you
always
have a
get
good
worse.
story, message us. We want to see it.
That's right. Let us know. Shoot us an email at the old email address, fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also give us a follow on our social channels at Fratchat Podcast. That's on Threads. That's on Instagram. That's on Facebook. That's on Twitter. That's on YouTube, where you can also watch episodes live every single week if you want to see our beautiful faces, especially Simo's nicely Botox face. You can also give me a follow. Check out my website, carlosgarciacomedy.com. Check out my social channels. Carlos Does the World on Instagram, on Facebook, on Threads, on TikTok, on YouTube. Carlos Does World on Twitter/X. And of course, you can follow my good buddy Simo over here at chris.moore.comedy on Instagram, on TikTok, and Seymour Comedy on Twitter/X. Oh, yeah. So, Miss Mo, it's time for us to roll. So, won't you please get us out of here?
I motion to adjourn this meeting.
And I second. All right, you guys, it feels so good to be back. And of course, we'll be back next week with another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasting time. It's the Frat Chat Podcast. See ya!
Chess.